In this video, I will show you how to supreme citrus. We begin first by removing one side, then the other, and laying it flat on the cut side. Then notice here I'm taking my knife, I'm angling it, going around the side of the orange in order to remove the peel. Please note that I'm not cutting straight down. Instead, I am cutting kind of in a slanted angle here. Now, once I've done that once, I'm going to go ahead, turn the orange the other way, and remove some more. Now you can see here that I'm removing this white pith, and you really want to be sure to remove all of it. Now let's go ahead and kind of double check. Notice that we still do have some pith here on the outside, so I'm taking my knife and I'm just carefully removing all of that pith. If you don't remove the pith now, you cannot remove the pith later. So it's better to spend a little extra time at this point in the process. Okay, a little extra trim work here. Feel free to use a paring knife if it's more comfortable. And I'm removing all of those white pieces of pith that are just hanging on the outside. All right, double check, and it's looking good. Now I can use a chef's knife or a paring knife, whatever works for you. Notice here that I have membranes, these white membranes that are going down. I need to take my knife and put it on the inside of the membrane, and then kind of do a little wiggle motion and remove that segment. Same thing here. Stay on the inside of the segment, wiggle your knife down, only go far enough so that your knife stops moving, and remove. Now here you can see we have a little baby piece, and so I'm actually going to use a smaller knife. Go ahead and remove that segment. Okay, and we see we have a tiny little segment. It's just based on the shape of the orange, so we did nothing wrong here. And continue moving on, putting my knife on the inside of the membrane, kind of shimmying it down, and then removing the segment. Inside of the membrane, and now that segment is out. And you can see here we continue doing that until we have each of the segments removed. Great thing about doing this is that if you were to get these supremes done ahead of time, you'll notice that you kind of have this like little empty book that used to be the orange that just has these membranes. There's actually a lot of juice in that. And so one way to store segments that you've prepped ahead of time is just to squeeze all of that excess juice from what the orange used to be on top of it. Okay, now last one here, watch those fingers, go ahead, remove the segment. And it is out. Okay, now what I like to do here is double check all of the pieces. I'm looking for pieces of membrane like that. And if you find them, not a big deal, go ahead and just carefully remove it. Okay, so we're checking here. Notice a little bit of membrane. Let's go ahead and remove that. Okay, so membrane we can remove after the fact. Pith, not so much. Think the pith would be on the outside of the orange segment. And so we would not really be able to remove that, hence why it's so important we remove it all initially. Okay, so just a little bit of trim work here. We're making sure that all of these pieces are nice and concise. Okay, the prettier these are, the better. Typically orange supreme or orange supreme would be used as a garnish, either in savory or sweet. So we do want to make sure that they're as pretty as they can be. Other thing that we are looking for here, notice that this piece is a little scraggly. No biggie. We'll go ahead, we'll use our knife, and we'll just straighten that edge. So any pieces that look kind of scraggly, please go ahead and fix. All right, and then last thing to show you here is when we arrange these pieces nicely, think on top of a cake or a tart, you can see that we end up sort of making a little flower shape, aesthetically appealing, easy peasy, and we are done.